Okay, this is a AUKEY bi-directional 2 input, 1 output HDMI switcher or splitter. It uses a HDMI 1.4 standard which supports both 3D and 4K by 2K at 30 Hz, or if you're using lower resolution such as full HD 1080p, you can get 60 Hz, but 4K by 2K is 30 Hz. Now what this allows you to do, I'm just going to give you all the specs in a sec, tell you what it does, then at the end I'll tell you if I recommend it or not. Now what this does, it can do, basically it's two products in one. It's either a switcher or a splitter. So you can either have, say, two sources plugged into this, say a PlayStation 4 into one slot, a Blu-ray player into slot 2, then this goes into the TV and you switch between the two sources. So do you want the PlayStation? If you do, you're on number 1 and that's what's on the TV, or you can switch over to source 2, then that, say, is your cable TV box or whatever, and watch that on the TV instead. So that's good, especially if you, say, have a TV with only, or a TV or a computer monitor with only one HDMI port. You can have basically two sources going into the one HDMI on the TV. Or you can actually reverse this, that's why it's called bi-directional, and use it in the opposite way. You can have this hooked up to two TVs or two computer monitors and have one source going into it. So say you had a PlayStation 4 plugged into this, you could have whatever it's sending, its movie or game, to two monitors or two TVs. So it's really, really handy, especially if you, say, have a TV with only one port, or you have, say, 2 or 3 ports, HDMI ports on your TV, but they are used up on other things and you don't have enough ports. Well, you can have two sources, so say a cable TV box and a PlayStation 4 into this, then this into the one port that you have spare or whatever on your TV or computer monitor. Or, like I say, you could use this as a splitter and have one source go into two different TVs. So that is actually really handy. If for some reason you want to have the same image, the same device's output go into two TVs, two monitors at once, maybe just to have it a bigger sort of image, or so multiple people can watch it in different places or whatever, then you have that option. Now, I'm sure you're mainly going to be using this as a switcher, not a splitter, but it works both ways. That's why it's called bi-directional. So you have those two options. It supports AWG26 cable standard, which means it operates very well up to 5 meters. It supports various resolutions. It supports 480p, 576p, 720p, 1080p, which is also known as Full HD, or 4K by 2K, or it does support some interlaced formats such as 480i, 576i, or 1080i. It has a video amplifier bandwidth of 3.4 gigabits a second at 340 megahertz. And it includes 24 months of warranty. A lot of products tend to include, say, 12 or 18. This actually includes 24 months of warranty, and it does have a little warranty card included in the box. What else is included in the box? Well, you get it, of course. You get a warranty card, and you get a manual which comes in various languages. And this is HA-H04 model, HA-H04 model. The manual basically just tells you some of the features, some of the specs. Then over here it has a diagram that I'm not sure how well you can see it on that, basically showing two sources such as a PlayStation 3 and a Blu-ray go into one TV through this box, or one PlayStation 3 go into two displays. Then you have some warranty and contact information. Then on other pages it goes to different languages. So there's not much to see in the manual. That's basically it. So what is on the product itself? Let's have a look a little closer. Well, you see a light 1 and 2, and that shows you which source you're using at that time, unless you're using this as a splitter, of course. But if you're using this as a switcher, there's an LED light there to show you if you're on source 1 or source 2. Then there's a button in the middle which pushes in to change the mode. You have text up there that just says AUKEY HDMI 1.4 bidirectional 2 to 1 switcher, 1 to 2 splitter. Then you turn it over and you have your two sources, unless you're using this as a splitter, in which case this is your two outputs. So if you're using this as a switcher, this is where you'd plug in, say, a Blu-ray player into one port and then a cable TV box into the other port or whatever. Then on the other opposite end, you have just one, and if you're using this as a switcher, that would be where you plug it into your TV or monitor to. Or if you're using this as a splitter, then this would be your PlayStation or whatever. Then this end would be to your two different monitors or TVs. And that is it. Apart from on the bottom, you have some information such as the model, so you know for sure what model it is even if you no longer have the box. It's HA-H04 made in China. And then you have some safety information such as it's CE and FC certified. And that is really it. Not much to see there. Now just very quickly, hopefully you can see this alright. I can't really tell on the camera because the camera has a 3-inch screen and it's really hard to tell until I edit what's visible and what isn't. But I'm just going to show you a HDMI cable plugged into it. Okay, I'm not sure how well that showed up, so I will actually just do it again quickly. Here we are. There. Snapped right in, and it snapped in very easily, yet it's solid. Now this might look like it's wiggling. There's a very slight wiggle. There's a very slight wiggle there, but it's very slight, and if we pull, I have to give it quite a tug to come out. Let's try the other port. Clicked in. I'm not sure if you could hear that on camera, but it clicked in. You heard a little click. Yeah, so it holds very, very firmly. Unlike some products, such as USB chargers or HDMI products, it isn't just going to drop out. You have to give it a bit of a tug. This is on the other side. Okay, now I've actually had some USB chargers and things like that the ports are quite loose on, so if you just knock them with your finger slightly, they drop out. So I've actually been charging things, USB devices before, and they hardly hold in. The USB hardly holds in, and the slightest breeze and it drops out because it's a very weak port and it's not holding. Well, that isn't the case with this HDMI switcher. The HDMI holds in quite firmly. In fact, I had to give it a little tug to get the cable back out. So you don't have to worry about a weak signal because it's too loose. You don't have to worry about it dropping out, anything like that. It is in there solid, and I've tried all three ports. I've used this on a TV and with a a Virgin Media cable TV box and a PlayStation. Tried it out and it works and it holds in firmly, so you don't have to worry about it, the ports being loose. You don't have to worry about the cable dropping out, or you don't have to worry about having a weak signal, weak image quality because it's a weak port and it's not in there properly and it isn't getting a strong signal. You don't have to worry about that because it does hold the cables in very snugly. The only other thing to tell you, and I don't think I mentioned this already, is actually this is metal. A lot of products like chargers and switchers and things like that can often be just plastic. This whole thing here is metal. The only thing plastic on it is the button. The button you click in is plastic, but the rest of it is metal. So do I recommend it or not? Yes, I do, because this is actually a good quality product, because I've reviewed things by this company before and they do make good stuff. And this is a good quality product that is not cheap, weak, flimsy plastic. It is metal. It's lightweight and it's very portable, even though in this kind of case that isn't really necessary. A switcher or HDMI switcher or splitter being portable and lightweight isn't a big deal. You're not going to need it, that portability, but it is. It's lightweight, small, it's plastic, it's good quality. You can use it bi-directionally. You can either have one source go into two monitors, or you can have two different sources go into one monitor or TV. It's really good. It's 1.4 HDMI standard, which is fairly new. Yes, there is a 2.0, but that is for 4K TV. So if you don't have a 4K TV, that certainly doesn't matter. And if you do, you might not need that, because this does support 4K, which is really good considering it's not 2.0. It's 1.4, but it does support 4K. With the 2.0 standard, you'd get a bit more bells and whistles, like higher refresh rate from the 4K, things like that. But the chances are your products you have may not be HDMI 2.0 yet anyway. I don't believe the PlayStation 4 is. I don't believe most TVs are that I've seen. Most monitors, most computers, the very newest these things use still is still 1.4. That I'm sure will change soon, but at this time you probably don't have a HDMI 2.0 TV or device anyway. And so this should be good enough for pretty much everybody or most people these days at the moment. And it does support 4K by 2K at 30 Hertz. It supports 3K, it supports the lower resolution such as 480, 720p, Full HD 1080p at up to 60 megahertz that as well. It's bi-directional, it's metal, it's just really good. It's a really good little HDMI splitter. Just if you for some reason particularly want HDMI 2.0 splitter or switcher, because maybe you know your TV or your device or both or whatever is HDMI 2.0, then maybe you want to look elsewhere or see if this company has one that is compatible with 2.0 standard. But I really don't think you need to worry about that at this stage unless you know you do. Unless you know your TV or whatever is 2.0, I wouldn't worry about it at this stage. This does support 4K by 2K at 30 Hz anyway. It's metal, lightweight, compatible with 3D as well as 1080p, Full HD. It's really, really good. I do recommend it. It's at a good price as well. Of course, if you need one that has like 4 sources, you can get ones that do more than 2 at a time. Then you might want to look at some of their other products or other ones. But 2 is good, and if you're looking for 2, this is one I would definitely consider. It's got the lights on it so you have that visual indication of what's going on. You've got the button there. It's made of metal. It's lightweight. It's really, I do recommend it. It's actually a very, very good little splitter and switcher all in one. So please like and comment on this video, and if you could do me a huge favour and subscribe to my YouTube channel, as it will just take a few seconds and will help me out a lot. Also, if you're watching this as a review on the Amazon product page, please hit the useful, helpful button along with this video. That will help me out a lot too. Thanks for watching.